to blame green energy, the Green New Deal, Democrats in a state run by Republicans, fueled mostly by natural gas, coal, etc.?
Well, first of all, Fox's audience, they know their audience. They don't want to hear any kind of criticism of conservatives and conservative principles. And the Green New Deal is a target for them because it's supported so much by liberals that it has to be wrong. I mean, the Fox people were literally saying something like, well, yes, there's great coal and oil power in Texas, but in the dead of night, AOC snuck in and changed it all to the Green New Deal. I mean, that's the argument they were making. And it was playing because that's what their audience wants to hear. And frankly, you know, in conservative circles, oil and gas, that's a big donor. You can't go after them. So that's a whole nother part of this, I think.
Yeah, I have wondered to what extent that's a factor here. Just now on Fox, Senator Ron Johnson was saying, it's unreliable. Wind and solar, they're unreliable. Emily, has there been a lot of fact-checking of this?
There has been a lot of fact-checking, and I think, local media has been extraordinary in this. If you read the Texas Tribune, my alma mater, the work they're doing is amazing. But, this idea that we immediately saw this be politicized and, this was about renewables, It's not about renewables. I mean, the reality is this is a state that has never had to experience this kind of level of winterization. And I do think this is going to further conversations around climate change in a state that has historically been.
Okay. It's quite fitting that Propaganda CNN does a nice piece like this, which starts off pretty good, and then she says that. Let's hear what she just said again.
Further conversations around it has never had to experience this kind of. Reality is this is a state that has never had to experience this kind of level of winterization, and I do think
a state that has never had to experience this kind of winterization. This is CNN, one of the major news networks, saying this. Really, in a piece criticizing, and rightfully so, the lies on Fox News, they say that. Does she really believe what she just said? And are the CNN staff, are they as ignorant as she is to not correct her? So this is Texas in 2011.
Well, good morning. It's February 1st. This is Fort Worth, Texas. It's about 8 a.m. in the morning. A lot of cars still here in the parking lot. I don't know if these people are not leaving yet for work or they're deciding to take the day off.
How do you get it so wrong? How do you, in the middle of correcting these garbage conservative outlets lying about green energy, across the board, windmills, I mean, just totally absurd, totally inaccurate. And then CNN lets that slip through. Not a minor detail. Not a minor detail at all. This was a big deal in 2011. 2011 was not that long ago. And this is a major event. Texas having major outages because of winter conditions. That's a pretty big deal.
This is going to further conversations around climate change in a state that has historically been reluctant to have those conversations.
Right, that's absolutely right. You were on Twitter this week, Emily, that Texas officials really failed to communicate in the middle of this disaster. What went wrong from a public communication perspective?
I mean, everything is the answer to that question.
Anyway, I just wanted to share that with you guys. Now, CNN, definitely very slanted media. And this particular guy right here lives in a massive bubble himself. I've seen him make several pieces pointing out the bubble on the right while not really having much self-reflection about the bubble that he lives in. And I say this not being able to read his mind because perhaps he's very much aware of the bubble that he's in, but he's making money from it, so it's intentional. But I can't read his mind, so I can't tell you whether he's knowingly deceiving his audience or not. All I can say is in this instance, he's more or less telling the truth and is the voice of reason and facts and science, except for the 2011 omission, which, as we see, he actually didn't correct. How does he, as a journalist on a major news network like CNN, allow his guest to make that statement and he doesn't instantly correct her? I'm not a journalist, right? I got limited time to spend on this, doing research. If I'm aware of this, why wouldn't he be aware of this? And if you're going to call out Fox News, as you should, maybe make sure your ship doesn't stink. This is Debate Me channel. Debate me in the comment section below. Click on the like button, subscribe, smash that bell. Be well. Shout out to Harry, Lindsay, and Alan. And everybody else who's been sharing the videos, liking the videos, supporting the channel. Really appreciate it. Happy Sunday. Have a happy, happy Sunday. There's no such song.